we're going to get into probably my favorite part. And this is involving networking. So people watching this video, some of y'all watching live, and we appreciate y'all. But other people are going to see this leading up to next year's Vid Summit, and they might be wondering how can you leverage Vid Summit like the best? Because it costs, well, at the time of this recording, it's $1,000. Maybe it's more by the time we come around next year. So how do you get the most return on your investment? And the biggest way to do that is to meet as many people as possible, connect with them and network. But some people actually don't know how to do that because there is a process. Be intentional with your wardrobe so you can wear your merch or like whatever style of content creation you make. Just think about that when designing your wardrobe. Get a QR code. You can do this on Canva or Genius Link or whatever, and link your link tree or your YouTube channel or whatever you want people to do. And you can save that as a screensaver, or you can save it as a screenshot on your phone. That's what I did. So when you're connecting with someone, you can just pull your phone out and they can scan it, and then you can use Blink and they'll have your number, or they can follow you on social media, etc. Have a game plan for these scenarios because networking and connecting is great, but oftentimes it might be an opportunity for us to make money together. So have a game plan for collaborating with someone, getting a client if you're a freelancer, getting a sponsor for your content. And that doesn't mean that these outcomes will happen, but just have a game plan if they do happen. And this is a big one. I use Google Spreadsheet, but start something on Google Spreadsheet and put everyone's contact information in that spreadsheet so that you'll have a way to keep in touch. And this is how you can follow up with people. I mean, case in point, look at how big this panel is. If I try to keep in track of all of y'all in my head, I would it wouldn't work. So that spreadsheet helps with that. And this is a big thing. Within, I'll say a minute or two, exchange names with a person. Y'all are missing free like rapport building when you talk with someone and y'all haven't exchanged names, but then you have all this like, I really feel like I know this person 10 minutes in the conversation, and then it's awkward for one of y'all to ask, hey, so what is your name? Exchange names within the first 5 minutes if you can, okay? And this is the golden rule. Don't ever, 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 ever leave a conversation or let the other person leave without connecting with them in some way if y'all built a connection. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, phone number, whatever, connect with the person. Because this happened several times during a conversation where I see someone that's about to leave, and I just entered the conversation, but these two have been talking for a while. I just say, hey, did y'all get each other's information? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. Let me add you on Facebook. Like, that means that connection could have been just abandoned because they got so excited they forgot to actually connect and keep in touch. So, yeah. So what I want to ask from every single person, I'm going to ask y'all some questions in regard to networking because we all have different styles of how we met people. How do you actually network? And people can take that information and use it for when they go to Vid Summit next year. Because someone's style is going to be compatible with them. Like my style might not work for them, but Joe's style may work. Gregory's style may work for them. So they can take, we got a diverse catalyst of personalities here. Someone's style is going to work. So with that being said, Joe, we'll start with you. Let's say if there's a group of people, for whatever reason, you want to start talking to them, how do you enter that conversation?
Well, as far as VidSummit goes, I just walked right up into the conversation. And I had a hard time with that before, and I'm not that extroverted. A lot of that is an act. So just walk right up into the conversation because that's what VidSummit is, and you have to remember that everyone's expecting you to do that there. So you're not interrupting people's. I mean, if you're like you and you're in the middle of interviewing somebody, that's not the same thing. But there's a group of people standing around, you just go up and say hi. That, and I use the Wova app a lot. In case you guys didn't see that, I interacted with every single person that came to VidSummit, back and forth. So there was a big conversation there with everybody that I talked to before I even saw them at the convention. And then it just became, hey, you know what? We're going here. We're going to have lunch. We're going to do this. We're all going to get together. And then when I got them together, I just keep my mouth shut and listen. Ask them about their channels and let them talk about their channel and their struggles and everything else. And if they wanted to ask me a question about something, they could. And if not, I was just there to soak it in and see what other people are doing. And sometimes I even picked up some great information for myself as well, just by keeping my ears open, which is a thing that I have had problems with in the past where, you want to talk and you're not really paying attention to people when they're talking to you. It's an issue that I've always tried to kind of work on. And over recent years, I've gotten a lot better at it, and I've been able to grow as a person a lot more too.
Nice. I do have to ask for maybe just a little more specifics. So, like, what kind of icebreaker would you use? You just walk up to a group of people, they're talking. Like, what would you say? Just like as an example. Like an example for me is I'll literally walk in a group of people and say, "Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Elijah, but I don't want to derail the conversation. Do y'all mind if I join in?" Oh yeah, yeah, coming in. Well, what y'all talking about? Oh, we're talking about such and such. Then they continue the conversation, but now I'm a part of it. So that's my example. But what would you say to a group of people if you want to, get involved with them as you walk up?
Well, usually I kind of just try to find something that would be an icebreaker that's involved with somebody that happens to be in that group. Like, uh, like Asia's got that awesome hair. So if she was in a group, I would just walk right up and say, "Hey, you know what? Pardon me. I just had to mention that your hair is crazy awesome and whatever." And then right from there, I could just say, "Hey, what are you guys talking about over here?" And then you're right into the conversation. You started with a compliment for somebody, as long as it's a real, genuine, actual comment, not just something that you're saying to get into somebody's conversation, because that's very obvious when you're just doing that. But in her case, it would be freaking totally legit. See, and I even noticed that she has a cat right there too, because I can see the ear right there on the edge, which makes her better people because she has a cat.
He's doing the same thing on the stream. So this is actually a good example.
Well,
I
it's just
love it.
it's just like that. It comes, that kind of thing kind of comes naturally to me. So I tend to talk a little bit too much. So I could try to keep it to a minimum on your stream here, but it's
Okay.
I just like interaction with people. And it's become a bigger and bigger part of me, and it's also one of the reasons why my engagement is so high on my YouTube channel, because I really do have an emotional interest in what people say in the comment sections and stuff. So if they're not like people being trolls or something, I try to answer everybody's comments. It's just fun. You know what I mean? And you get to learn things about people from other places that you'd never know. It's just great. I mean, the community is great. That's also one of the reasons why I just love VidSummit so much. Getting around other creators really is a bigger deal than people really think about. When we are pretty isolated when we're making our videos, even if you're married or whatever, your spouse does not understand that work because they can't unless they're doing it. It's brutal sometimes, but you got to do it.
Indeed. Yeah, because Yuli was here for this, but yeah, this year there's actually I saw people. This was at the welcome party. And this is why I want to have a whole section about networking. Like they wanted to talk to people, and then they would circle the roof like multiple times and not end up talking to anyone. And then
Hmm.
I would ask them like, so did you talk to anyone? Like, well, no, I didn't see anyone alone. Like the only people that were alone were the people that wanted to be alone. Like they're sitting at this table, like maybe catching up on something on their phone. So they're not engaging for a reason, but then they get up and go engage. So like you're not going to talk to anyone doing laps, finding someone that's going to be alone. So you got to have some way of jumping in a group.
Elijah, there's actually just one last little note. Um, I ran into an awful lot of people at VidSummit, the creators, and you can tell who they are. You're walking around and they're just kind of like this, and they're afraid to talk to people. Even came to a couple of my little meetups and stuff where they're just kind of trying to listen and get the information, but they are so scared. And those are the people I walk up to immediately because that is somebody who just wants to get to have interaction with people. And
Yeah,
you just come up and you just introduce yourself and you just start asking them questions about themselves. And they open up. It's a beautiful thing to see, man.
it is. I did this with a few people where I saw them. Well, I know what I just said, like no one is alone, but I'm being kind of facetious. There's some people, like Joe mentioned, that are just kind of huddled in this little bubble, especially the first day. Second, third, they just start to come out of it a little more because the social juices start getting flowing. But when I see them in that little bubble, I'll go and talk to them, and then I'll convince them to actually talk to other people in groups. And we'll move on to a Bronco in a sec. And I actually showed quite a few people there during the welcome party. Look, just watch me go and strike up a conversation in this group. And then they watch it like, oh, that's so amazing. Okay, so this time you're gonna do it with any group that you can pick. Pick whichever group of people you want. Go up there and you can steal my words. Just say the same thing. And they did it, and they see that. Oh, I didn't instantly die because I talked to a group of people. It was actually a fun experience. Well, let me do it again and again and again. So yeah. But Bronco, I see you smiling, so I'm assuming you got something to say in this on this topic. If you want to talk to a group of people, how do you do it? What's your icebreakers? How do you enter the conversation?
Okay, well, first I gotta get it. I gotta get it out because on the welcome party on the Tuesday night, I bombed. It was a disaster. Where were you? Like I needed to find you Tuesday night because I was that guy wandering around, just like trying to find an opening. And like I have to say, like Tuesday, like during the day, I was on fire. Like it was so easy. I was talking with people, having really meaningful conversations. And I was like, this is, and by the time the party came, if Vidsummit had ended that afternoon, I would have considered it a success because I already had spoken to so many people. But I don't know, like I just don't do well like in party environments. I'm much better when it's more intimate, a smaller group. um I felt like, again, like I know everything what you're saying. Like I could have done those things. I could have stepped in and said those things. Um, but it felt like during the party, it I don't know, like for me, like I had a hard time. I did talk to some people, but it was like, I don't know, it was just so different for me. And that part was a struggle. Um, but apart from that, it was so easy because I mean, I'm so passionate about this business. It's like it's incredible to me that this exists. I mean, I so enjoy what I do and who I work with. It's like I'm friends with all my clients, and I couldn't say that before in my previous, profession. I was a general contractor. I had my own construction company. I hated it. Here, I can talk with people and share my passion, and I think that was the icebreaker for me. Like, because I would just listen and I would hear somebody talk about what they're going through. And I would just simply say, like, oh, have you ever thought about trying this? Like, I find, I have a use case like where somebody had that problem and we answered that problem kind of doing this. Like, what do you think of that? Would that might work for you? And more often than not, that was like it. You offer one piece of value to somebody, and it's like that's it. You're instantly like bonded, and you start going back and forth like it's nothing. And I think the other thing too is that everybody expects to network there, and because everybody understands each other, I think it's a lot easier than what people might think. Like I was really nervous coming into it, not knowing what to expect. But I found it remarkably easy during like the first 2 days with the networking because of the meetups, and it was so great because you connect with somebody at one meetup, and then it's like you become buddies, and it's like, oh, you want to hop over to the next one, and then you go together, and then it's like you don't feel alone because you got a buddy, and you immediately jump in with another group, and it's like then you make more buddies, and it's like, oh yeah, this is interesting, this is happening in an hour, I want to go see that, and then you hop on with another buddy, and the previous buddy, you're like, I'll catch you later. It's like, it's all good. And I think they make it really easy, honestly. And again, I mean, case in point with that Tuesday night, I mean, I am an introvert by nature. So for stuff like that, I tend to struggle. But, it's like, it really didn't matter. It really didn't matter. I think also, too, I was tired. I mean, because wasn't expecting to go so hard, and I was so excited. I mean, I just had so much fun talking with people that I think come Tuesday night, it's just like the vibe shifted completely, and I was already tired. I mean, I'd flew in that morning. I mean, I woke up at 2 a.m. to get there. So like, now in hindsight, I was tired. So I think that had something to do with it. But yeah, I think you'll find, if you've never been, or if you're really self-conscious about approaching people, I mean, I find that it's like, if you love this business, these other everybody else there loves it too. So it's really easy when you have a shared interest to connect with people. And I think everybody there's, I mean, I never met one person who like shunned me, or, everybody was welcoming. Everybody wanted to know who I was. And likewise, I want to know what you do. And it was so fun seeing what people like are into and what they make a channel out of. I mean, I met a guy who was making parody songs, sort of like Weird Al, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, and immediately I'm thinking, how do you do that? Like, what are your struggles? And it was so easy to kind of like get into a deep conversation. So, I don't know. If you like content creation, you come to an event like this, I think you're going to find that it's a lot easier. At least that was my experience. It was way easier than I thought it would be. So
Cool. You brought up something that is underrated. Put together a Vidsummit crew. How you said the first person that you meet, like, hey, let's go on to another like group of people, and that's one way of doing it. Another way is, if you're gonna do the circle of the room, let's go hunt down people who are just like kind of in their shell. Go talk to them and recruit them to be part of the Vidsummit crew. Before you know it, you're gonna have a group of like probably 3 to 5 people. Like, okay, so we're a crew now. Let's get going. I mean, I think I coined the phrase, and Yuli will keep dismissing this, but me and her are the co-founders of our little Vidsummit crew. Yeah. But I do want to say real quick, for the audience, if y'all have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. We'll be sure to pull them up on the stream, especially in regards to networking. Like, is there something like you feel nervous about when it comes to going up and talking to people? Feel free to express it. And you have a whole panel of people who essentially went to a networking type event and got good results. So we have good advice to give. So Matthew, you want to get your network on. There's a group of people you want to talk to. How do you go about it?
If there is a group of people there, I'm gonna be real. I'm a little awkward, but I'm real big on kind of embracing the awkward and just kind of doing it. So if there is a group of people and I really want to be there with them, I might just kind of like stand there and like lurch. And then it's like, if we make eye contact, usually give a little smile, and then it's like, oh, hey, and then try to get in like that. But I'm gonna say, when it came to like networking and all that, especially like first night when it came, I very much feel the same as Bronco. Like, I would say I'm pretty introverted myself, and that was like overwhelming. Like, I came on my own, and then like I'm just there walking around. I'm like, I don't have a problem like going up to somebody and talking to them, but it's like I didn't even know where to start. I'm like, yo, there are all these people, so I'm just like, I'm one of those people circling around. I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? I'm like D-Lo, like I'm like, oh yeah, there's a bull there. That's something for me to do while I'm there. And then it's like, after I get the hat, I'm like, yo, I'm still overwhelmed. I don't know who I want to talk to, so I'm just chilling. So naturally, like, how I make connections is I will usually go to a more quiet area. I will kind of show that I'm open. I'll like lean against the wall, but I'll make sure I'm not on my phone. It's like, hey, I'm here.
Great
I got a
advice.
smile on my face, but I'm not on my phone. I'm just not with all that loudness. And I find
This ban
yeah,
it unless you're pointed out to give someone your number or something. You might want to make more connections. Ban this doing while you're out trying to meet people because that'll
yeah.
be the reason someone doesn't approach you. But go ahead.
No, yeah, I usually just find like, just me standing somewhere, leaning. It's like I'm usually just visual. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I'm usually like pretty confident just being somewhere because I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on. Let's observe. And then usually somebody will just like kind of, I don't know, will like lock eyes, and then it's like they'll usually like come over and just say what's up. So that's usually how things go for me. But yeah, that's honestly. I did like have a lot of conversations at that what was it, the welcome party after the fact. Like, I don't know, it's like if you're somebody that's not like extroverted and you want people to talk to you, wear something interesting. After I rode that cowboy, or after I rode the bull and put that cowboy hat on, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you must be from Texas." And I just happened to be from Texas. But they just assumed I was from Texas because I had a cowboy hat on, and that started a lot of conversations. So yeah, so if you're not too extroverted, having like something like a statement piece, that can be helpful too.
Hmm. Okay, that's good advice. Um, that's actually going to be something I'll get into when I share my advice on networking. I'm going to be going last, but I don't have to do anymore because you just mentioned it. Wear something eccentric, maybe something that's a good reflection of your personality, and people will come up and just to ask you about, hey, that's an interesting shirt, or like, oh, that's funny what you're wearing. It's a great conversation starter, and that is a hack for introverts. Like if you just wear something that maybe centers around your principles, your beliefs. Like I know sometimes I don't seem it, but I am intro. Well, I'm technically an ambivert, but some people say that's a cop out. You got to be introverted or extroverted. I've taken the test. 40% extroverted, 60% introverted. So technically, I'm an introvert. But if you're wearing something that I wear vegan merch all the time, so people will walk up like, "Oh, you're vegan." So if they're interested in veganism, that's a conversation starter. So yeah, but we'll go ahead and go to D'Lo, and you got some people that are vouching for your approach, D'Lo. So I'm really interested to hear how you approach this.
I mean, to be honest, I'm an introvert myself, but I told myself before coming to this event, like, if this is really what you want to do, if you really want to talk to people, you really have to express yourself. Like, you're not only networking like yourself or like what you're doing, but you're networking yourself. You have to be approachable. You got to stand up straight. You got to be like, you actually want to be there, and you got to talk to people no matter what. Even any conversation starts, hey, I like your shoes, and then go from there. Don't just stop the compliment from there, just continue talking. Oh, well, what do you do? And then you're going to have more leeway going into that. Always like listen to what people are telling you. Like how having a buddy works. And I had my friend, we had our cameras out, we were streaming throughout the whole welcome party, and that was also a good conversation starter. You got people seeing the camera, they're like, oh, are you on stream? And then like, say what's up, chat, and then they get excited and like, hey, shout yourself out on the channel, and then tell them what you do, and then boom, we get into conversation right there. It's the little things. You just gotta really express yourself. You gotta be the person you want to be. Promote yourself as you want.
Mhm. Nice. Yeah, you were streaming a lot during the welcome party and the after party too. We'll get into the after party later,
Yeah.
but so Rebecca, how do you go about networking at when you at Vidsummit? Like, there's a group of people you want to talk to. How do you go about it, or you want to enter the conversation?
Yeah, so kind of like Joe, I'll just go up there, be like, "Hi, I'm Rebecca." So I have a friend that does this, not a content creator. But this is actually how I met him. I was out at a restaurant and I was talking to a group of people, and he literally just walked up and went, "Hi, I'm Brad," and he just like joined the conversation. Like he's so good at it, and so now I'm just like I channel that Brad energy. Like I just go up there. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and then because we are at Vidsummit, we all have the same reason to be there. So I like to ask things like, what's your channel about? Or what kind of content do you do? I mean, not everyone is there to do like, not everyone there is doing content. Sometimes they're coming because they work for a brand or a company or they're editors or something like that. But that's still information you can find by asking like, what kind of content do you do? And then I also like to ask like, have you been to VidSummit before? And so I feel like those are very easy segues into conversations. Another thing I like to do is connect with people ahead of time. So I like to go on Twitter and LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is actually a really good resource. And I think it's really underrated
It
for
is.
VidSummit. And I know Roberta Blake promotes using LinkedIn a lot. Like he loves using LinkedIn. And so I go on LinkedIn and Twitter and I literally just I type in the search bar VidSummit and I sort by like the latest posts. And people will be tweeting and posting on LinkedIn and Twitter, like, who's going to VidSummit? And then I'll reply to those and I'll be like, I'll be there. And then if you recognize somebody, like add them on Twitter or LinkedIn. And then if you recognize them, just walk up to them at VidSummit and be like, hey, I follow your Twitter, or I found you on LinkedIn. And I mean, people are very receptive to that.
That's a good point. Who said the networking has to start when you enter the door at VidSummit? There's a lot of pre-networking that can be done, so you can be making connections before you get there, and then you see these connections in the flesh. You walk up and, hey, it's nice to see you in person. Oh yeah, we were interacting like we were talking like weeks ago. Or you could even, how about this? You could have a VidSummit crew before you even walk in the door. Hey, so how about we all meet in person, like I guess like at the front entrance or something at this time, and then y'all all meet in person, and then boom, you have a VidSummit crew right from the get go. So yeah, I think that's underrated. So Asia, how about you? When it comes to networking, conversations happening in front of you, you want to get in on it. How do you go about it?
Yeah, I think this is something Joe touched on earlier, when he was talking about being genuine. Um, and I follow suit with that. I mean, I'm someone like that. Um, I don't know. I lead with intention, and that's it. That's what I've learned to do. Like I speak as a woman. I mean, as a woman, yeah. Like, because when I always talk, I always want to keep in mind if there is a young woman in this space listening. That's why I talk the way I do. But anyway, I always lead with intention. I've learned to always lead with intention. I don't typically like plan out exactly what I want to do when I get into networking spaces and such. I've really just went through life gaining that type of confidence to be like, I am who I am. This is me. And I'm going to go in leading with intention of growth. And so when I get in those spaces, it's more of just like, this is me. I'm Asia. Hi, nice to meet you. I don't typically go in like searching and like doing a circle search. Not saying it's wrong, but for me, that's personally what I don't do. I just I don't know. It's like a natural gravitation towards people. Um, just depending even on the day. Um, like what I was just saying earlier, when I felt overstimulated, I sat down, I was catering to myself, just being like thinking of those things, and somebody so happened to sit next to me and come to find out he used to was like partnering with TikTok and now he has his own company with branding. Like I'm a I believe in God. I'm a spiritual person, so I lead with faith, right? So even with networking and getting to know people, I lead with faith in that regard. So even when I met Elijah, I wasn't looking around, or I sat down. I didn't really want to dance or party, and he came to me and we sat down. We started talking. Even with Yuli, it was the same thing. It was the same genuine experience. That's somebody I am, and I always encourage people that I meet just be genuine. Just be you. It's okay to be you. You know, someone's gonna love you. Someone's gonna be attracted, when it comes to finances, etc., to you just because you are you. You're created the way you were, right? The way you are. So that's how I lead. I lead with intention. And as a woman, I always push lead with intention and let it go. Be, you know, keep it with there. I met another woman she told me she ended up being someone who advocates for women who do creative content. She helps them when it comes to cyberbullying. She's like there when they're going through, you know, when they're getting harassed, etc. And I actually experienced something that same day on social media, and I happened to have met her. And she ended up telling me, you know what? I don't even go into a room and try to plan everything out. I just lead with intention and go from there. And I so happened to met her. And I actually had a genuine conversation with her about something that happened on social media with me. And I even started tearing up and crying and like I just like that's just how I am. Just be genuine, just be you. Um and yeah, I learned I met so many different people, even people you don't even think like have, you know, like if it's just a normal, like for example, Facebook, owner of Facebook, right? Mark Zuckerberg, like he wears flip-flops, pants and like a t-shirt, and you know what I mean? Like I happened to walk by Matt Barnes at YouTube at the Vidsummit. Like this is I was like, and I had the courage to like, hey, can I get a picture with you? Can I say hi? Like you never know. Even there was somebody who was really young in our volunteering group. And you know what? I saw him and was like, what you doing? And he was like, I don't know. And you're like, well, I heard there's some food over here. We went to go get food. I end up meeting his whole team, working with like millions of YouTube followers. Like it was just out of nowhere. It wasn't like I was essentially, I mean, specifically looking for it, but it was more of just like, I'm in this moment. I'm leading with intention, with growth, and I'm just being myself and being genuine and follow the food. People love food. Um, so yeah, that's what I would say.
Well, one thing you said is real powerful is be authentic, be yourself. I think it's important to say that when we're talking about networking. Sometimes people put on a mask and try and be someone else, and that's just not going to work. So if you're quirky, be quirky. If you're outgoing, be outgoing. Be yourself. It's going to come off very genuine. People will be able to feel it, and people will be able to rock with that. But if you're fake, that's going to turn people off instantly, and they're going to be finding reasons to exit the conversation because you're not being authentic.
Exactly. People aren't don't judge people, like don't think, oh, this person's dumb enough to not pick it up. Like people are smart, we're all smart people in the same space. So we can pick up when someone's being genuine, we can pick up when someone's being fake, when someone's just like, oh, like you like follow like, or just it's just weird. Like just be cool. It's gonna come to you, at the right time. So that's what I always like to preach. But yeah, I agree, Elijah.
Cool. So Gregory, you know the question. I think everyone wants to hear what you got to say. So how do you penetrate the conversation if you want to get involved in it?
I'm never going to let you live down talking about that like that.
Well, that's why I worded it that way, just to troll you. But go ahead.
But embrace the awkward, right? So I love what everyone's had to say. I'm typically that person that looks for the person that is circling. I'm laughing over here because Stephanie, I sent her a message to hop on. She said, "Smile if you're not being held hostage." Embrace the awkward. Be you. Like, I typically can sense the energy of someone I need to be around. And if I'm talking to a group of people, I do this thing called the name game. So I'll walk up, I'll ask this person their name. Hey, Asia, it's great to meet you. What do you do? Oh, Asia's a UX designer. That's cool. And then I'll see Yuli lurking off at the corner and be like, I know she wants to come over here. So I'll just invite her and be like, hey, Yuli, have you met Asia? And then I'll introduce them and tell them each about something they do. And then I see another person, Dilo. I see you over there. You don't look like you want to talk to someone. Have you met Asia and Julie or Yuli? And I just keep doing it until I create these little crop circles of people talking that wouldn't have talked. And then once they're talking, they don't even realize I've walked off and started doing it again. Now, when you go to a networking event, if you start creating crop circles of people and you start connecting them, one, you get to know everyone, their name, what they do. And if you're more interested in being interesting, you will be the more interesting person by default. You don't even have to try to be interesting. You just have to be interested genuinely in other people and what they do. And then you create enough crop circles, you get to know everyone. And then by the time the networking event starts, or like, you know, the thing gets going, they think you're the host because you are the most hospitable person. So what typically happens is when I go to events, people think I'm someone in charge or someone important because I've created all these circles and I know everyone. But I'm just this person that's curious to a fault. I can't help but want to learn more about people, and I guess I'm like a human icebreaker. There is no awkward around me.
You should coin that phrase, human icebreaker. Belongs to Gregory Routledge, aka G Wiz.
I'm gonna forgive you for pronouncing my name like that. You sound like a telemarketer.
I guess I'm just the ultimate troll to you today.
You got to get me back for making fun of your veggie burger. I mean,
Oh, I hadn't thought about it. Maybe it was subconscious.
it is subconscious, man. It's okay. That's why we roll together. So that's like kind of my thing. The other thing is like, there's no one size fits all way to network, right? You kind of got to read the vibe, read the room. You know, if someone's got amazing hair like Asia, or someone's got a really cool shirt on that says Joe's phenomenal, and you're like, why is Joe phenomenal, right? It kind of brings you in. There's things you can do. Like, I was not always this way. I was very awkward. I was very introverted. And I don't think it's a cop out to say you're an ambivert, because I think we both have both batteries inside us, and they're charged by different things, right? So like, introversion versus extroversion is just how you recharge your batteries. It's not how you interact with people, because most of us, let's be real, we're much better in community. Whether it's, you know, like, it may be awkward at first, it may be uncomfortable at first, but once we get to know a person and that ice is broken, we're much better together than we are lurking, circling around the circles of people, right? We are much better when we're connected. And so, read what's happening and then try to insert yourself with a question. And again, I might be a little biased. I'm questioning everything, right? So ask a question about something. What's that shirt mean? Why do you wear your hat? You know, you said you do music, all types of music. What's your favorite? Rebecca, you do live streams. What about? You know, like, when you find out something about someone, find out something else about someone. Another one that I'll say is, if someone's having a conversation, I don't know about y'all, I have ADHD. I can hear everything happening around me. And so I'll hear something in a conversation and save it for later when I walk up to them and be like, I'm sorry, I couldn't help but eavesdrop because y'all were talking about something I'm interested in. And then you mention that thing and then your take on it. And now you're automatically like in their field of vision because you are talking about something that they were talking about, and they see that you're an attentive person. So I don't know if that's possible for everyone, but I think it is. I think if you're genuinely interested in other people, you'll be accepted wherever you go, because people's favorite topic to talk about is themselves. So if you give them that opportunity to talk about themselves, what's going to happen is they're going to have a mini therapy session with you. They're going to talk. They're going to have a revelation. And when that veil is lifted, guess who's standing there as a result of them having their breakthrough? Yes, you are the miracle person.
Nicely put. I do want to direct people to Gregory's been on the podcast before, and we did a show specifically on how to network at high ticket events. So check that out. And I've also done I've done a podcast on how to network and grow your social skills. So I'm gonna leave both of those in the description. But before we go to Yuli, I do want to answer Joe's question. What were the fries cooked in? It was cooked in soybean oil. I actually asked. But After Yuli answers her question, we're gonna go on to the last question because I don't want to keep y'all on too long. But Yuli, I think your introvert pass has been revoked because you did a lot of talking this year. And
Actually, I
you,
lost my voice the last day.
oh, that's proof. You lose your voice, that means that you really maximized. So, what instead of asking you the question, I'll just ask. Well, yeah, it's the same question, but I saw you do it. So, networking wise, what were you doing to enter these conversations and just be a part of it?
Well, my secret is find yourself an Elijah. Or for anyone else, Anna Greg and or Greg. And just let them do the hard work. Find the group, start the conversations, and then you just slide in quietly and you just stand there and then Elijah's like, oh hey Yuli, and then it just naturally happens. that's just I'm super introverted unless I'm already once you get me going, then it's hard to like shut me up. I mean, Branko knows we ended up talking for like 4 or 5 hours. We went to lunch with Elijah. We even kept it going after that. I think it's the getting it going that's hard for me, and I hate to just go up to someone and I feel like I think my fear is like just not wanting to interrupt someone. Like I feel like that's that's not obviously it's kind of normal at Vidsummit, but that's basically how I met most of the people I met. It was just kind of like, you're done talking to someone, you kind of just walk around and you see, in my case, it's, my crew is Elijah. And so I'll just walk up to him, and now he's there with somebody he had just met, probably about almost done with the conversation. And then I just step in and it kind of continues to me. And then he walks off because he wants to go meet someone else. And now, I'm meeting this new person. And that's kind of how it just like evolved. Same with him. I was talking to Asia and Elijah just came and sat down. And then at that point we were kind of done. And then they took over. And I think that's like how most of the conversations happened. Same thing when I met Branko. I was a little afraid to talk to him because you seemed like you were pretty tired. You didn't want to talk to anybody. You were there talking to the company Goalcast, and he looked kind of standoffish, and I was like, oh, probably not. And we ended up talking for like 5 hours. So it's wild. But I think we tried the whole thing of going up to random people, and it's just not, I mean, I could do it, but it's just not, I don't know. I like more the natural just flow of things. You kind of just end up somewhere bumping into someone, or you're joining another friend who's already in that crew, and the natural conversation just like I can do it every other way, but that's like my favorite, just not pushing or just interrupting, especially not interrupting any flow that's already going on. But yeah. I mean, I met like when that happened to me at the very end, towards the end, when I met that girl from Australia, which was amazing. A girl that came alone all the way from Australia. And she was at the end, she was like, I'm so happy to have met you. This is so great. We ended up going to the after party and dancing a ton. And that's the other thing I was going to say. If all else fails, just show up to the after party and just dance. Because I think I probably met the same amount of people just dancing on the dance floor. I met Rebecca that way. I met Ken. So many people just kind of like, music is universal. So you don't even have to like talk at first. You're just like, hey, let's just. So if all else fails, you can always meet people that way.
Nicely put. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add, when I met Yuli at the after party, she just dragged me onto the dance floor.
You know what? I think I was vaguely there for that, if I remember.
You were. Yeah,
I was. And like last year, even though Kelly was a bigger dragger, y'all tried to drag me on the dance floor when they were playing the Fruit Loop music, and I wasn't having none of it. But eventually they started to play some hip hop, and I got out there.